I'm Marotta, and welcome to Big East Women's Basketball Rewind, where I take you through what happened in conference play this week. Earlier this week, Villanova took on Providence, winning 83-68, led by their leading scorer, Jasmine Boscow, who had 22 points and 6 assists. But let's talk about Bryn McCurry, who was doing it from everywhere on the floor. She had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. She also went 100% from the field, knocking down 1 for 1 from the three-point line and perfect from the field. Kennedy Henry had 16 points for herself, continuing her successful freshman year. Villanova knocked down 15 three-point shots while shooting at 44% on home floor. Those threes happened all because of how Villanova moved the basketball. They finished the game with 22 assists. Nova then went 2-0 on the week with a win versus DePaul, 69-56. Again, Jasmine Boscow, another big-time performance. She had 27 points and 5 assists. Most of those assists going to Ryan Allen, who came off the bench and had 17 points, 7 rebounds. She was a huge spark for Nova's offense. Villanova has proven this season that they can knock down three-point shots, but they beat DePaul inside the paint, winning the paint battle 40-22. A great week for Villanova. Marquette also took on DePaul this week. Marquette versus DePaul, a rival matchup every single year. Marquette took a huge lead to start this game. They were up by more than 20 points at the end of the half, but DePaul came out of the halftime ready to fight. They pressed, they were aggressive, they knocked on threes. Their two Wisconsin natives, Allie Tim and Elena West, dominated. They hit threes, they got to the free throw line, and they forced 24 turnovers from Marquette with their full court press. However, Marquette returns every single player this year. They use their experience and leadership to pull out that tight game. You could tell Marquette had a chip on their shoulder after losing to Georgetown a couple weeks before this game. They then went out to Washington, D.C. and dominated inside the paint. They had 12 more paint points than Georgetown in this game, which was really the deciding factor. Lee Volker, their senior leader for Marquette, had 16 points in the first half, and she finished with 22 on the game, but she did not leave the floor. They needed her every single minute. She played 40 minutes in that game and really left it all out there. Let's talk about the big dogs in the Big East. The UConn Huskies, #1 in the conference, #1 in the nation. UConn started off the week against a Big East team in Xavier, where they dominated that game, and then went on to finish the week against their historic rival, Tennessee, who is number 15 in the country. This was a hyped up game, but UConn took it to them. Tennessee made it a little interesting in that second quarter, but UConn put the pedal to the metal. They dominated in the second half, making this a 30-point deficit for Tennessee. Let's talk about the best duo in the country between AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. AZ Fudd had 27 points and 7 rebounds and 7 assists against Tennessee. She went 5 of 8 from the three-point line. Her buddy in Sarah Strong had 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. This is a dangerous duo in the Big East, but this is a dangerous duo against the best in the country. UConn remains the last undefeated team in the nation. How about this week for the Creighton Blue Jays, where they went out to the East Coast? They faced St. John's and Seton Hall and came away with 2 big-time wins. In that first game versus St. John's, this is always an interesting one, but Creighton has made a statement this year, going 2-0 against the Johnnies. 5 Blue Jays finished in double figures. Leading all scorers was Ava Zedeker, who had 18 points. The freshmen are showing out in Big East play. Blue Jays found their rhythm from the three. They knocked down 11 threes versus the Johnnies. Creighton then went out to Seton Hall and also came out with a big-time win. They beat the Pirates 72-66. Another balanced scoring night for the Blue Jays with multiple players finishing in double figures. Both teams were tied in terms of paint points, but Creighton took care of business in transition with 13 points in the fast break. St. John's had a chance to redeem himself against Providence, where they won that game 62-57. Daniela Abies had a great 16-point, 11-rebound double-double. St. John's did not shoot it great from the field, but made up for it from the free throw line. They went 16 of 19 from the line, a much-needed win for St. John's. Seton Hall also responded against a great Georgetown Hoya team. On the road, the Pirates were led by Mariana Valenzuela, who had 19 points. Seton Hall also got to the free throw line 18 times, converting off of 15, a big difference maker in that game. A great response for the Pirates. The last game of the week is Xavier versus Butler. Xavier took what they learned from their loss at UConn and then used it against the Butler Bulldogs. Mackenzie Gibbons having a day with 18 points. She had help from Vivian Nasimich, who had 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists off the bench. Xavier shot at nearly 50% from the floor, as well as winning the rebounding battle. The Musketeers are doing great in conference play. Another competitive week for Big East women's basketball. I'll be back next week for more.